Hi, this is Josh Marshall from TPM Media. It's Thursday, January 10th, 2008, and this is episode 8 of our weekly Campaign 2008 Roundup. So first, the results in New Hampshire didn't turn out exactly like we thought it would. As you know, the polls said that Barack Obama was going to win by probably 10 points and Hillary Clinton won by 3. So what happened? I think there's basically three possible answers, and it's pretty hard to figure out which is the most dominant. I think the first one is, it seems pretty clear that with the what's being called the tearing up moment and also with the debate, there was a late break in favor of Hillary Clinton, and the polls just didn't pick it up. Although there's some evidence now that in the final night of polling on Monday, there was some movement back to Hillary Clinton. So that's one possible reason. The second reason is, you have 5 days between Iowa and New Hampshire. The polls are going to be especially volatile. Going back for a year now, Hillary has always been on top. Then Barack Obama was on top and he rocketed ahead, but so much is happening so quickly and people's minds are moving so quickly, the electorate is probably more volatile than it normally is. Third, and this is the worst possibility, something that's called the Bradley effect, and that is the propensity for white voters to lie to pollsters about their willingness to vote for an African-American candidate. Now, there's some evidence pointing against this being behind the change in the polls, and that is the breakdown between voting by men and women. It would seem to be that women had to be less willing to vote for an African-American than men do. That doesn't at least make a lot of sense on first view. Possibly this was just more of a gender backlash or something like that. We don't really know, but what we do know is that the Democratic race is back to a dead heat. So the next big contests are South Carolina and Nevada. Actually, Nevada is on the 19th of January and South Carolina is on the 26th. Now, recent polls, the ones that came out after Iowa, showed Barack Obama way ahead in South Carolina. Probably some of that has to do with the fact that there's a very large percentage of African-American voters in the Democratic primary electorate in South Carolina. Now, there's also Nevada, again, coming up on the 19th. That's been a strong state for Hillary Clinton, but just in the last 2 days since the New Hampshire primary, 2 key unions, and remember, unions are very powerful, especially on the Democratic side in Nevada, 2 key unions have come out and endorsed Barack Obama. Now, along with those union endorsements, here's another thing to keep an eye on. In the 2 days since the New Hampshire primary, which Hillary Clinton, of course, won, 2 senators, Senator Tim Johnson of South Dakota, and today, Senator John Kerry of Massachusetts, who, of course, was the Democratic nominee in 2004, have come forward and they're endorsing Barack Obama. Now, with Hillary's comeback, I would have expected labor unions and Democratic power brokers to at least be holding back, if not actually endorsing Hillary Clinton. She is, after all, the establishment candidate, as much as her campaign seemed almost dead only a few days ago. But clearly, there are a lot of people in the Democratic Party who don't want Hillary Clinton consolidating her lead and going back to being the front runner in this race, and really think it's time for a change. All right, so that's the Democrats. We're going to take a quick break, and when we're back, we're going to tell you about the latest on the GOP. Okay, so we're back. Now that to the Republican Party, the primary race on the Republican side, it's really hard to know what to say about this. It's such a mess. There are 4 candidates who arguably are still in this race. You've got John McCain, who's got the national name recognition and the most recent victory. You've got Mitt Romney, who's basically gotten embarrassed in the first 2 big primaries, but has a ton of money and could keep campaigning forever. You've got Mike Huckabee, who a lot of Republicans actually seem to want to vote for, and who's ahead or in a tie for lead in South Carolina, in Michigan, in Florida, all over the place. And then you've even got Rudy Giuliani, who at this point, admittedly, is basically a fringe candidate, in a battle in most of the primaries with Ron Paul for 4th or 5th place. But he's still in it too. He's got a lot of money, and he's doing okay in the national polls. So the next big showdowns on the Republican side are in Michigan and in South Carolina. We don't really have any idea what's going on in this Republican race, though, so if you do, send us an email at the email below and tell us what you think, and maybe we'll have some idea what to tell you by the time we do our next episode. I'm Josh Marshall from TPM Media, and we'll talk to you next week.